Okay, I'd like the record to show that Mr. Martin has waived the right to privacy and we are now in open session. So before we begin, I'd like to summarize the process that will occur. The board members are judging this case and this case only. The hearing will be informal and the technical rules of evidence do not necessarily apply. Either side may introduce any relevant documents or records. There are going to be two phases of the hearing. The first phase will be evidence from both sides, and then once all evidence is presented, then recommendations on potential discipline will be discussed. During the evidentiary process, the administration will get the initial chance to present their witnesses and their evidence, and then you as the student's representative will be given the opportunity to question the administration's witnesses as well. The student will present, you will be able to present your witnesses and evidence, and with the administration have the right to question you as well. The trustees may ask questions of any witness at any time. After all the witnesses have been called, the board will determine whether there is sufficient evidence to support the allegations of any misconduct. If we find that there is insufficient evidence to maintain the allegation, the hearing will conclude and no discipline will be imposed. If the board finds that there has been sufficient evidence presented to support the allegations, we will enter in the disciplinary phase of the hearing, where the board will consider whether to accept, reject, or modify the administration's recommendations of discipline. The student's representative will have the opportunity to rebut the recommendation, and board members may ask questions at any time during that part of the proceeding. So, are there any questions for anybody as far as the process of this goes? Okay. Okay. Are there any documents or, let's, I'll do that as we each one talks. So, it's my understanding that you have received a letter from the district which describes the basis of the administration's recommendation that your child be expelled and that the procedures which are followed. Is that indeed the case?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. You've been advised of your right to present at this hearing and to present your side of the story and present evidence. Is that also true? Mm-hmm. Okay. To the administration, can we outline the allegations against the student?
Absolutely.
Just the allegations. What is it that you're?
So we've got a situation where a student violated policy 3310, which is our student disciplinary policy, particularly the section related to using violence or force toward anyone or urging other students to engage in such conduct. So in this situation, the student himself assaulted a teacher in the classroom, and that's why we're here tonight to talk about it. And I've got a copy of the policy for the trustees, and a few copies that we can pass around. Did not bring a ton. Let's see, Scott, Tyrell, Stacy, and Tristan. If you guys each want to take one, pass them down.
As a student's representative, is the allegation denied or is it admitted to?
So now you get it?
Yeah.
Oh, you know we get it.
Okay. Okay. Then we'll move on to the evidentiary phase of the hearing. The administration may now open up their case.
All right, so we are going to relay the events of that day. We also do have video that was basically sent out, and then Mr. Condon will just give some more information from interviews that occurred after the incident.
Okay.
And so on that day, March 12th, a student came down to the commons to me and said, "You should get down there now." And as I started to walk towards the classroom, I saw the student walking after the staff member. I stepped in between the two and basically asked him to stop multiple times, to look at me multiple times. He then was able to move into an adjacent office so that I could create separation between him and the staff member. walked in there, kicked a trash can and said, "I'm so effing done with this dude, bro." And I said, "Okay, you gotta tell me what's going on here." He then relayed to both myself and the resource officer who was present there to help get him out of the situation that I effing punched him. And I said, "You just punched a teacher?" He said, "Yes." And then I said, "How many times?" He said, "About 10. So once that admission was made, we moved him into another office to wait for Guardian to pick him up.
Okay.
So during the process that there was a lot of things that were happening. One was that Colton said that this teacher was looking at his sister in a strange way, and so he was interviewed. And this was part of our Title IX investigation that we did. So he was interviewed by the administration at EBMS because the reason that they did the interviewing is because it involved their student, an 8th grade student, and they interviewed her as well and talked to her about, asked her some questions related to Colton's accusations. So what Colton had said during the interview was, he was asked, "We heard that you said Pritchard looked at your sister. Tell us about that with specific details." And he said, "I'm sure you heard it from Pa, but I can't tell you much. I heard that he saw Pritchard staring at my sister, and he texted me to let me know. It happened a week before our high school prom. I was planning to do it for a while and wanted to wait for prom so I could go. The prom was on Saturday, March 7th, and the assault happened on Thursday, March 12th. When I was told about it, I think it was the day he told me that he saw it. I'm not quite sure what that means. Did you tell any adult here, like Mrs. Jen or anyone?" "No, I told my grandpa." "Do you think Natalia knew of this happening?" "She did because she said things in the past that she feels uncomfortable around Pritchard." "Did she feel uncomfortable around that time frame?" "No, it was way before." "Can you tell us the name of the student who told you this so we can interview them since he witnessed it?" "No, I can't do that." "Is there anything else you can think of that we should know?" "No, that's really it." Natalia was interviewed. Sorry.
Let me interrupt you for one moment. Just because the representative of the student has waived his right to privacy, the witnesses and the individual staff members have not waived their right to privacy. So please refrain from utilizing first names and discussing anything that would allude to the identity of either one of those individuals.
Okay.
You can refer to him as the student or the student's sister or something of that nature.
Okay, I can do that. Anyway, so the student's sister then was interviewed and said...
Was that with the grandparents there? Or can you interview without there? I don't know.
One moment, please let him finish and then you'll give an opportunity.
So during the interview with Mr. Kemper, and Miss Morris. Since it was a situation, Miss Morris says, "Since it was a situation with your brother yesterday at the high school and he stated things about you, can you tell us about that?" And the sister said, "Basically all he told me was that he was mentoring weeks ago. Apparently he saw Pritchard looking at me."
Please refrain from utilizing the staff members.
Sorry, yeah, redacted it all. Apparently he saw, I don't know, staff member looking at me. I don't know if it's true. He said he was going to beat the staff member's ass. I did not think he was actually going to do it. I didn't think it was going to happen. Kemper asks, "Do you have any reason to believe the staff member did that?" And she replied, "I don't think he did. I've never had any problems with him. I think he's a good teacher." And that's all I got.
Okay. Did you have a question for?
Yeah, I just
please?
wondered if they can interview with nobody there as a juvenile. Can they? I have no idea.
They can, yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I just didn't know.
Okay. So any additional questions for the administration? And Dan, I'd like to give you the opportunity if you so choose.
I don't have any questions. Are you ready to?
Yes, we can go ahead and do that.
Hopefully technology works here. At this point, I think that's the only video we're gonna show. We have other video from the school's internal system that shows the students outside, planning, staging the event, getting ready to make cell phone videos of it. But because there are other students pictured in that video, and because it's open session, I don't think we were gonna show it in the
Correct.
in the meeting today.
So based on that, you were saying that it was, that there were additional students involved that were going to
Yes.
potentially videotape it? Or
So the fact that it was planned in advance and staged and prepared for adds to the nature of the violation, that it wasn't a gut reaction or a quick decision on the part of the student who did it, which causes us to be concerned about things that could happen in the future.
Are there additional questions from the board to the administration? Mr. Martin, do you have any additional
No.
questions for the administration? Okay, seeing none then, give you an opportunity, please.
Well, there is no defense, you know he did it. But my idea is two wrongs don't make a right. Colton was wrong, and you guys are wrong to have the guy in the class. Two wrongs, does it make it right? No, it's not right. But I think they're both wrong. That's all I have to say.
Okay. Are there any questions for Mr. Martin, either from the administration or from the board? Okay, so do you have any additional witnesses that you'd like?
No, no.
Okay,
I said there is no defense, you just a radio. You know, what kind of defense you got for that? I'm sure he wasn't in the right state of mind. I asked the school psychologist, have you talked to Colton over this? See how observant, how he was in the right state of mind when this happened? She said, no, I never talked to him, and I asked, why not? You know?
okay. All right. Does the administration have any closing statements they'd like to make? Okay, we'll move, Martin, Mr. Martin, do you have any closing statements?
No, no.
Okay. Seeing none, then at this point in time, we'll go on to the disciplinary side of it.
Well, I guess I do have one comment.
Yeah, please.
I believe no matter what I said, you guys already decided 2 months ago that he's gonna be expelled.
Okay, thank you.
Am I wrong?
Well, that's what we're here to
I don't know,
decide
well,
right
you
now.
know.
So we'll now go on to the disciplinary side of it. And does the board have any questions relating to the request or the recommendation for expulsion for this incident?
What's the term?
So typically, by law, the board can expel for a term of up to 1 calendar year. Typically, that's what the board will do if they choose to expel. A lot of times, not a lot of times, not that it happens a lot of times, but in the past, the board has given the student the opportunity to report back to school administration, explain how they've changed their ways, provided restitution, and become a citizen that can be trusted among our students in our schools. And if the board's interested in hearing an appeal to shorten the term, we can consider that at that point in time. But because the law allows a 1 calendar year expulsion, that's typically what we ask for. Go ahead, Tony.
There's not actually a 1-year cap, and that's from the Gun-Free Schools Act.
Okay.
There's
That's that law.
no cap in Montana law.
Okay.
It's anything from 21 days to permanently or anything in between.
Okay.
Oh,
So,
I learned, see, this is why you
Thank
invite
you.
lawyers.
that's one.
Scott?
Yeah,
May I
Mark.
ask somebody from the administration, I don't know who came up with the recommendation, could you talk a little bit about how the recommendation came about?
Yeah,
Or
so
what
the-
things were considered and why?
I think mostly the egregious nature of the act. For me personally, I've worked 25 years in school administration. 33 years in education as a teacher, principal, superintendent. There's only one other incident that I've known about or been related to that was even close to this violent in a school between a teacher and a student. So the fact that you've got a student on your campus who, in his way of thinking and belief system, thinks it's all right to, first of all, take things into his own hands, second of all, assault another person, third of all, a person of authority, a teacher in the building, that's a pretty concerning situation, and that's the reason for the level of discipline that's recommended.
Were there, what consideration, what other, this is the most extreme level of discipline that
Right.
it could be. And is there a
Could it be
term
6
that's
months,
being,
could it be 3 months? You know?
is there a term that's being suggested?
A year,
No, so that would be his whole
senior year, yeah.
Oh, that's convenient.
Any other questions or discussions on the disciplinary side?
Is it appropriate, Scott, to ask if he's had any other disciplinary leading up to this?
Not for this particular case, no.
Well, you know Colton personally, because your husband's the wrestling coach?
I know him through one event.
Oh, okay, okay. I was gonna ask you what you thought. You know, what you thought of Colton.
Trustee's individual opinion of any type of student is really irrelevant in this particular case.
I could still ask.
Understand.
I guess I'd ask a further question. What sort of, were there other mitigating circumstances or other extenuating circumstances after the effect, or, I guess, did you take it, we heard a little bit, from Paul about the interview afterward.
Yeah.
Has there been further, has there been discussions about, like, anything, very often in a sentencing portion, the person's mindset and their admission of guilt, or their lack of admission of guilt, or whatever is considered, and I guess, have there been discussions that you can talk about in terms of like, that would tend to give you any indication of what the future might hold?
So I think I know what you're alluding to, that the two things that concern me the most.
I guess I don't know, I
The
really don't.
complete lack of remorse on the part of the
That's what I
student.
was asking.
And during the threat assessment, the statement that he would do it again if he had the opportunity. And understanding the entire situation, that I'm not throwing that out there to paint this kid as a career criminal, but in this situation, you've got somebody who crossed a line and a boundary that I don't think is appropriate to cross in a school setting, and is totally non-remorseful and willing to take that step again. I'm not sure at this point in time that that's a person that I would trust or allow back on campus.
That's exactly what I was asking.
Yeah.
As a student representative, do you have any questions on the administration's recommendations for discipline?
Well, no, like I said, I think you guys were gonna expel him 2 months ago when it happened.
Are there additional questions from the board?
I have one, based on Tony's response about no cap. If we expel for 1 year based on today's date, then potentially at the end of the senior year, and your statement about not letting him, or concerned about letting him back in the school, do we need to revise that to 13 months? I guess so that's a question I have, is that the intent, is to not allow?
Yeah, typically, if a senior walked into the high school on the 27th of May and wanted to enroll for the last week and a half of school, we wouldn't enroll them anyway at that point. So that is a little bit of a moot point, but
Okay.
if you're wanting to, obviously the board can make the motion that the board wants to make. And obviously I was operating on a little bit of false information with the 1 year recommendation, so.
Thus the question is whether or not I guess what I'm asking then is, do you wish to change your recommendation, or is 1 year sufficient?
Well, I think to clear up any ambiguity, a 13-month suspension would solve the question that you're bringing up right now. So yeah, I would be okay with that.
Okay. So if there's no other questions from the board or for the representative, then, do I have a motion?
Make
You know, I'd like to say one thing. I don't agree with any teachers. I grew up with 10 kids in the streets of Butte. We were tough, we were rough, but we never touched a teacher. Back then, the teachers touched you, and it was cool. But I also don't agree with Mr. Pritchard being in the classroom.
Please refer.
That's my deal. Okay, whoever he is. The child predator, I'll call him.
Okay, do you have a motion then, Tara?
I make a motion to expel the student for 13 months.
Okay, we have a motion for expulsion for 13 months of the student. Do I have a second?
Seconded.
Second from Brandon. Okay, are there additional questions or comments from the board? Questions or comments from the public? Please,
I'd like to make a comment. Actually, I have a comment.
please, go ahead for the record, just address yourself. We know you are.
I'm Kate Johnson. I have a comment from a different teacher and myself. Is that allowed? A teacher who could not be here?
Do you have it in writing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Once you're done reading it, then we'd like to have you introduce the please.
Sure, this is from Ashley, not Farrow, Linder. She's a 4th grade teacher at Rep. Dear school board members, I'm writing to you as a teacher in my 10th year in the district who is desperate to see change in our schools. I love teaching, I love my students deeply, and I believe in the work we do. That is exactly why it is so painful to watch our classrooms become increasingly unsafe and unsustainable. This year, it has become nearly impossible to maintain a safe, productive learning environment. Students who behave violently or unsafe often face no meaningful consequences, while teachers are asked to absorb every unmet need. Feeding students, managing crises, protecting classrooms, and stepping into our roles far beyond instruction. The strain on staff is no longer sustainable. Teachers should not have to fear being assaulted while simultaneously managing instruction, IEPs, testing, and the needs of 20 to 30 families. We need meaningful behavioral policies, real support for classroom safety, and systems that protect both students and staff. We need leadership willing to acknowledge the reality teachers are facing every day and take actions before more educators leave the profession entirely. We give our hearts, our energy, and our lives to caring for students. We are asking for you to care for us too. Ashley Linder, 4th grade teacher. I am Kate Johnson. I'm the union president. And I had the student in summer school, and I love the student, and I love Pa too. But here's my statement. Dear board members, I'm asking you to carefully consider the message we send when a student who has physically assaulted a teacher is allowed to remain in our schools without the most serious consequences available under district policy. Board Policy 3110 grants teachers and administrators the authority to hold students strictly accountable for disorderly conduct. The policy specifically identifies the use of violence, force, intimidation, threats, and other comparable conduct towards another person as behavior warranting discipline action. I know you got that. The physical assault on a staff member was not merely a violation of school rules, it's a direct attack on safety and security of everyone in our school community. Likewise, Board Policy 5015 states that the district is committed to providing a positive work environment free from bullying, harassment, and intimidation, including conduct that knowingly places an employee in reasonable fear of physical harm. When a teacher is physically attacked at school, that standard has been clearly violated. The effects extend beyond the individual victim. Every employee who witnessed the incident or learns that such conduct resulted in limited consequences must wonder whether their own safety will be protected if they become the next target. As educators, we dedicate ourselves to helping students learn from mistakes and grow. We understand that students sometimes make poor decisions. However, there must be a clear boundary when conduct crosses the line into violence against staff. A school cannot fulfill its educational mission if teachers and other employees do not feel safe in their workplace. Schools must be places where disagreements and conflicts are resolved through established procedures, not through acts of physical aggression. The decision before you is not simply about one student. It's about the expectation we establish for every student and every employee of the district. By taking decisive actions in response to physical assault on a teacher, the board would reaffirm that violence has no place in our schools and that the safety of our students and staff remains non-negotiable. I'm almost done, I No teacher should have to come to work fearing physical harm. No staff members should be left questioning whether district policies will be enforced when violence occurs. I respectfully urge the board to uphold standards set forth in its own policies and to consider expulsion as an appropriate response to the physical assault on the school employee.
Thank you. Are there additional questions or comments from the public?
Well, she commented that the teachers should feel safe in class. I think the students should feel safe. Are they? Can you guarantee my students' safety?
Thank you.
Well, can you?
The
Not gonna answer the
board does
question?
not answer that, won't be answering
No.
questions. We'll be
So that
listening.
means no.
Are there additional
We're
comments?
talking
from-
about the student, what about the teacher?
Thank you.
When do we stand up for our kids?
Can you identify yourself?
Please.
I'm Marty Burkhardt. I've been involved with the East Helena School District for a lot of years. My daughter had comments from this teacher back in 7th and 8th grade, and we're still doing the same thing. I don't approve of what this child did at all. Like these teachers are saying, we can't have the violence in school. But also, y'all say no child gets left behind, so we're just gonna kick this kid out of school and kick him to the curb? I mean, come on, wake up, people. There's a teacher talking about our 7th and 8th grade year olds' bodies? Come on, wake up. Like, something needs to be done about that too. You can pick on this kid all day. What he did is not right, and I don't approve of that at all. There has to be some kind of retaliation. He has to be punished. But we can't just kick this kid to the curb. We pick him up, we help him out, we figure out how to get him through the rest of his school year as opposed to throwing him off to the side and into this crazy society. But also, I wanna know what's gonna be done with this teacher, and when are we gonna stand up? When's Dan Rispin's going to take care of his faculty and do his job? That's what I'd say.
Are there additional comments? Public,
I'll stand up. I was
please identify yourself.
Sherry Northcott. I was an assistant softball coach in the district, and the student we're referencing with the Title IX violation was one of my athletes. And I'm here because I'm sick of girls being taken advantage of, being looked at, being told inappropriate things. My niece has graduated from this school, and back when she was a freshman, this was brought up. And it wasn't taken care of. Dan was in charge. We didn't have a principal, so I believe Sean Merkel was the assistant principal at the time, and it was never taken care of then. And that was back, she's 21 years old. I wanna know that you guys are going to be looking into that, because I guess my concern was we asked him, what he did, but did we ask him why? Did we ask him if he was okay? Did the counselor talk to him? Are we just really throwing kids out onto the street saying, you know what? We'll take care of this individual situation, and that's it. As school board members, I would hope when you're addressed in the community that you would act safely and appropriate too. And I'm going to ask that you really think about the girls that have come forward, that have talked about this teacher. And I'm not saying this young man was right, but I am saying that he did something because his brain is not fully developed. We all know how brains develop. And at this age, he reacted. But just throwing him out and not doing anything about the teacher, not doing anything about safety, that's what you guys are here to do. I am asking you politely to do your job.
Thank you. Additional public comment?
I would also like to speak on that.
Please.
My name is Megan Surgener.
Thank you.
I'm the former East Helena High School softball coach. I also was the Bradley School secretary for 5 years. In my personal interactions with Colton, I found that he was nothing but a really kind-hearted person. I think he was put in a position to where the adults in the situation did not handle it to where the kids were safe. I think he felt painted in a corner and reacted accordingly because, like Sherry said, his brain is not developed at this age. And anybody who has early childhood development or education development knows that kids' brains aren't developed until they're well into their 20s. I think that the adults in this situation need to do some serious thinking about how we need to protect our kids overall. The adults in this situation failed. And we are better than this. East Helena is better than this. I've lived out here for 23 years. My husband has grew up here his whole life and has created a life here with our kids. We have 2 kids still in the district and 1 that has graduated. I feel like we've been supportive. We love our community, but I see a really bad turn in our community, and I think we are better than this, but we need to make some changes. I like everybody here has said, we don't condone violence. I think this is the worst thing that could possibly happen, but I do think that we need to self-reflect and see that we are to blame. The adults in the situation have not done what they needed to do, which is protect the kids. And the fact that we've been dealing with this same situation for 14 years, come on. Like, what are we doing? I don't know why the adult is ranking over the safety of our kids.
Thank you. Additional public comment,
I would like to say something as well.
please.
I'm Layla Lawrence. I am a student of East Helena. I will say the interactions that I have had with Colton, he was a really nice guy. I do say though that when you say that, oh, we're taking the actions that we are taking, over the 14 years of nothing that was going on, essentially, a student finally did something about it. We had 2 former students try to sign petitions and try to get him, that teacher, out of East Helena, but yet nothing has happened. So then now we have a student who made something happen because of how many years that there was nothing happening. You know, there's nothing going on to help that student. So it's like, I understand you probably don't want to hear it from a high schooler. I totally understand that, but at the same time, it's like, you have parents over here too. I have a younger sister who went to middle school with him as well, and she didn't have the greatest interactions with him, is what I would like to say. I just think that over time, when nothing happens, something does happen, and I think that that snap was something that you guys maybe needed to pay attention to. I definitely do think that there does need to be a change though with that as well, but that's just me. That's all I have to say.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there any additional comments from the public? Please.
Brett Charlton, high school teacher. I don't think that either way that this goes is going to be exciting for both sides of it. But I do know that you guys are taking the correct steps toward making this school better right now with our new electees and the new people that we have. I do want to speak as a teacher who has taught with the said teacher and who has taught students that have come forth and shared their stories. I just don't think that there is a real world situation where somebody gets to give somebody a look and you get to take this action and get away with it. And for the teachers in our school, the good ones that we do want to keep and that we do want to protect, what message are we sending to the public when we let a student get away with something like this? And who's to say that then another teacher isn't going to have an issue arise where somebody doesn't like them and they know that this student got away with it, so why can't we do it again?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any additional public comment? Okay, seeing none, then I will call a question and I'll ask for a roll call vote. So,
Point of order,
please.
can we just restate the motion?
Oh, yes. Sorry.
That's right.
Vice Chair Murphy made a motion to expel the student for 13 months, seconded by Trustee Hanson.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so I will call the question. So, Tristan,
Yes.
Stacy,
Yes.
Tyrell,
Yay.
Martin,
Yay.
Brandon. Yay. Tiffany,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. So 7 yes, 0 no. The motion to expel the student has been approved. And that will end tonight's meeting
Can I
of the
make
East
a
Helena
comment?
School Board's meeting. If you do, before I whack the gavel,
Huh?
before I whack the gavel,
Yes, I'd like you to make a comment. Well, you guys are missing the biggest point, and my granddaughter was the biggest victim of all. She feels she's at fault, she caused this. You guys won't do a fucking thing about it. I can say that word all I want, that is not offensive.
Yes, it is, that's inappropriate, and I will call this meeting adjourned.
Cohen Woods in California says the F word is not me. Here's what I said, Mr. Walters, are you the clown that's leading this dog and pony show?
He is.
Yes, you are.
So interesting.
I can tell you fuck you all day long, and you can't do a fucking thing about it.
What are you doing, Stacy?
I'm actually here for my history.
What's that?
I'm here for my history class.
What do you mean?
I'm supposed to come to one of these for reasons.
Oh, really? Is that what you? Oh my God. Are you a senior? Yeah. What are you doing? That's what I'm I was gonna tell you.
As good as can be expected. Yeah, did you shut up, Dan?
No, I was happy to see that. But you were, good speaker. You did well. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so now what?